freaking first cut. Golly.
Welcome to the First Cut Podcast. I'm Rick Gehman, and this is your mega preview pod for this week's Memorial. Joining me to break it all down, Patrick McDonald is here. Patrick, good day.
Players, I experienced something new today. I was getting ready for my HQ hit with the famous Greg DuCharme, and I caught the back of my head, and I found my first gray hair.
Oh, welcome.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I've got a dozen up front. They're coming in on the side. Ain't no thing. Welcome to the club.
It's kind of a nice time when they're just coming in. I think that's the best time where you just kind of have a sprinkling of them.
Nice salt and pepper, as they say.
Yeah, exactly.
A more distinguished look. He's wearing his sweater vest. He's got gray hair.
Exactly.
Well, I can't. I was trying to like pluck it out too, but I can't because it's just right in the back. In the mirror, it's a difficult operation to try to get it.
If you pluck it out, it'll be replaced by 2 gray hairs.
Actually?
Yeah.
I don't believe you.
I know. It's like if you sit too close to the TV, your eyes are going to cross and stay like that.
If you drink coffee, it stunts your growth.
Yeah. Weren't you scared into this stuff as a child, Patrick?
It was more like eat your carrots because they're good for your eyesight. Oh. I don't know if that's even true though.
Yeah, eat your carrots or you'll go blind.
Banana has potassium. I'm pretty sure bananas really don't have that much potassium.
You know, bananas are really good for something else. They do have potassium.
They do.
But they have a lot of magnesium, which is a deficiency that many people have. So, hey, fun banana fact of the day.
A standard banana has 422 milligrams of potassium. I think the thing, Patrick, is most people have them on hand. So if you need a quick source of potassium, they're the go-to. It's not that they're just the most potassium-filled item. It's just that most people have them.
That's probably right, but I think we got into a space where the lines kind of blurred a little bit.
Greg DuCharme is here. Hey, Greg.
I'm just admiring right now all the hardware next to my name. I love the addition. I think it's great.
It's
and it was on there yesterday. I meant to say something about it. I'm proud of it, honored, thrilled, and I hope to keep it all blinged up like this.
Yeah, so if you're not watching on YouTube, Greg is rocking a trophy next to his name. That is his for winning the most recent trivia challenge. That stays until he is taken down. And he is also represented by a money bag emoji, which is the current leader of the one and done. It is essentially the yellow jersey for the Tour de France. Now there is $4 million up top this week. So honestly, Greg, I think you are subconsciously worried about losing it. And that is why you pointed out that you have it right now.
Well, that could be. This could be the jinx of all jinxes. Although when we see the picks and the players that have been selected, there's one thing in my favor, which I believe is significant. But there's definitely some, hazards and obstacles that we're going to have to dodge.
Yeah, I can't get it this week. Kyle cannot get it this week. Patrick cannot get it this week. Josh could. Mark could. Yeah.
A
lot of movement otherwise. We'll get to that. Don't worry. That's coming later in the show. Gentlemen, yesterday was a long day. In fact, some would call it the longest day in golf. 36 holes across 10 different venues in the United States and Canada to get the final qualifiers in to the U.S. Open. There are some notables that came out of these sites that I do want to hit on. Let's start with the Bears Club. That's Jupiter, Florida. I've heard of that. They got 5 qualifiers out of 73 competitors. Willie Mack III is in. Luke Clanton, he's an amateur in. But the notables here, Greg, Dean Burmeister, Daniel Berger, Matt Kuchar all punched their tickets to Pinehurst.
Yeah, fascinating stuff. Matt Kuchar ends up getting the win there Daniel Berger was sitting on top of that leaderboard for quite a while. And it's very nice to have Daniel Berger seemingly playing a little bit better golf. Perhaps he got a little bit of the putter figured out, got some of that straightened out. He seems to be healthy. He seems to be hitting the ball fine, but he hasn't been able to put it all together. So I'll be very curious to see if Daniel Berger in the near future, perhaps at the U.S. Open, hey, why not, can start to get himself into contention on some of those first couple pages of the leaderboard.
I would love it, Patrick, if like Daniel Berger had his resurgence. I don't know. I mean, he has been very close to the vest about the entire, over a year that we were without him, something like that. I mean, it's just, yeah, I mean, it was crazy. And now he is starting to play again to kind of medium level results. And this is a really good sign. I hope like Greg says, he goes out and starts making a lot more noise.
Yeah, he shut things down right after the 2022 U.S. Open at Brookline. And honestly, this year it's been a bit of a shame that he hasn't gotten any of these sponsors exemptions into the signature events, because you could argue Daniel Berger got injured at the most inconvenient time to be a professional golfer. With all the money that came around, he loses all his status pretty much. And for him not even to get one into Pebble Beach at the beginning of the year as a former champion, it's kind of a shame, to tell you the truth, because he was a top 10 player in the world at a time. He contended in major championships like the U.S. Open. He was in that final group with Tony Finau that Sunday at Shinnecock when they raced up the board on Saturday. And it's going to be really cool to see him back at the U.S. Open. He actually hit the first tee shot at Pinehurst number 2 in 2014. That was his first, I think, technically PGA Tour event as a professional. So pretty cool full circle moment.
That you're absolutely right about the timing of that and how he kind of got boned with the whole thing.
Completely boned.
Yeah. Now I think that Daniel Berger, and I don't know him personally, but it feels like he's one of the few guys that probably doesn't care about that, right? He's just straight vibing. He's got his dog. He's on the boat. He can already afford that stuff. But you're right. It kind of stinks.
Yeah, it's absolutely so inconvenient. Just money wise, play wise, you don't get into the events now. Events you would normally play, you're missing out on. You have to go to Myrtle Beach to play. No offense to the Myrtle Beach crowd, I know they love me there.
They do. And I heard lots of great things from Myrtle Beach.
You have to go to the Dominican Republic. I mean, these aren't obviously places you have to slum it, but it's not the usual Daniel Berger schedule.
Interesting little nugget. All right, I'm going to chew more on that. North of the border, Ontario, Canada, at Cherry Hill Club. 7 spots from 66 golfers. The notables here, Greg, these are a lot of our boys. Mark Hubbard, Adam Svensson, Rico Hoey, Davis Thompson, Grayson Sigg, Aaron Rye. Those are the boys. You throw in a Canadian amateur, Ashton McCulloch.
I think you got it right the first time.
Okay. Those are the 7 that get through. Just on the outside looking in, more sizable names: Keith Mitchell, Matt Wallace, Ben Griffin, Bud Cauley, Sam Ryder, Doug Gibb. Is this because they stayed after the Canadian Open and played their qualification there, right?
Yes. So typically Columbus would be the really big spot. And there have been times where you'd get like 14 players get through Columbus, but it seems like they kind of split it. And you had actually only 5 got through in Columbus, 7 got through in Ontario, and 7 got through in Durham, in North Carolina at the Duke Golf Course. So yeah, this definitely has to do with the Canadian Open and that schedule change. I would also imagine the limited field and the echelon of the field at the Memorial also changed the attraction to Columbus. So that was pretty cool. But how about Mark Hubbard? I mean, absolutely. He gets to 15 under through 36 holes, boat races everybody. He's having quite a year and certainly belongs in the U.S. Open, and now he's earned it.
He is having a great year. Speaking of that Columbus qualifier, 5 spots from 68 golfers. Chris Nagel in. Gunnar Broyne, he's an amateur, in. And then 3 familiar names here, Patrick. Brendan Todd, Seamus Power, Justin Lauer, all going to Pinehurst.
I'm buying stock in Gunner. I don't know how old he is or what his game's like, but with a name like that, I am in. It's cool to see Justin Lauer. He's had a quietly very good season for him after losing his card there, after initially getting his PGA Tour card, then losing it, and then getting it back, and now kind of settling himself into being a PGA Tour professional. It's cool to see. And then, I mean, I love that Todd Father and Seamus Power seems to be coming around a little bit.
The Durham qualifier, Greg, you were mentioning this one. 7 spots from 84 players. Harry Higgs continues his unbelievable run. So a couple of Korn Ferry Tour wins. He gets through at 3 under. He will be joined by notables like Sam Bennett, Chesson Hadley, Webb Simpson, and Frankie Sappin III, who this kid is unbelievable. This kid is phenomenal. He's on the Korn Ferry Tour right now. When you go to some of these events and he's there, people talk about Frankie.
I believe he shot 58 this year on the Korn Ferry Tour. Mm-hmm. So raise your hand if you've done that before. Yeah, pretty good stuff out of him. This was another really impressive thing. The one that I'd like to highlight is Harry Higgs, who, just think about what he's done on the Korn Ferry Tour. Harry Higgs has gotten into a playoff and made birdie to win the playoff, made an eagle to win a playoff. Now he gets into the sectional qualifier for the U.S. Open, final qualifying for the U.S. Open, gets into another playoff and makes another birdie. It's just incredible what he's done. Every playoff hole he's played, he's made a birdie or eagle. I think some of those playoffs, he actually made multiple birdies. And maybe even yesterday, I think he birdied every playoff hole that they played. So really impressive stuff from Harry Higgs, and certainly very clutch.
Playoffs?
The final qualifier, which we'll talk about here, is Springfield, Ohio. Zach Blair in, Bo Hostler in, Carson Schock in, and then an Aussie on Aussie playoff for the final spot. Cam Davis versus Adam Scott. Patrick, Cam Davis ends the chances of his fellow countrymen to play in what feels like his 1 millionth consecutive major championship. I believe it was only going to be 92. Yes, which is the streak will end at 91, barring him getting in as an alternate.
Correct. Well, there's OWGR as well. He's world number 60 at the moment. Which
if he won,
he has to stay there this week to get in. Alternate as well. First, I want to say kudos to the Golf Channel for really leaning in to this day. There's some great coverage out there from all the sites, live shots and everything. It was really cool to see. It was funny. They're tracking Adam Scott. He was going along great. His first round was bogey free. Trips up a little bit, and he's playing with this guy. They have like 5 holes left. He's 10 over, and they're just roasting this guy's chipping technique, just absolutely giving it to him. While Adam Scott short sides himself, leaves one in the bunker, but they're like, "What is this guy doing? Just zero pace through that chip. You got to accelerate. Look at that decel there." He ended up getting up and down, but I was just cracking up on my couch. Trip Eisenhower was just roasting this guy who was out of it. But yeah, Adam Scott chips in for birdie on the first playoff hole. Cam Davis knocks one in from 10 feet on top of him. A couple holes later, Cam Davis makes the birdie to send him home. Sucks. I think I still have faith that Adam Scott's going to get in, though. I don't know how, but I have faith it's going to happen.
91 major championships in a row, Greg. That's almost it's almost a quarter of a century, right? 100.
We're talking about the 2001 U.S. Open at Southern Hills,
where people almost died, pretty much. It was so hot.
Yes.
Yeah.
2001 U.S. Open at Southern Hills. Okay, where people almost died, as Patrick said. Incredible. I mean, that was Retief Goosen won that, I believe.
Yeah, who missed the putt on the last hole there? Was it him to win it outright? And then they went to a playoff? Someone missed a short.
Was Mark Brooks involved in that?
I don't remember that at all.
Maybe I'm thinking of Was there a 2008 PGA? Tiger won that one, right?
Tiger
was-
won at Southern
It
Hills.
was
Yeah.
a playoff. It was a playoff. So they played an 18-hole playoff, which Goosen won by 2 shots. I don't know about that.
Paul in the chat says Goosen missed a 2-footer.
Okay.
Or Stewart.
Who did Goosen beat in that playoff? Brooks?
Mark Brooks.
Yeah.
Oh, here you go. Here you go. Sorry. Okay. Goosen missed a 2-foot par putt at the 72nd hole to fall back into a tie with Brooks, forcing an 18-hole playoff on Monday. Brooks was in the clubhouse when Goosen charged his 10-foot birdie putt past the cup. Goosen, after watching his playing partner and co-leader Stuart Sink miss a 20-inch putt for bogey, pushed his par putt by the right edge of the cup. Wow, geez, tough pin position there on the 72nd. So that forced the playoff. Yeah,
I'm having flashbacks to Mito Pereira.
Yeah, I was gonna say there are demons on that hole at Southern Hills.
Probably good that they come back the next day for the playoff, because I'd be pretty shook if I had to go immediately into a playoff after that.
Yeah, but can you imagine you're 2 feet away from winning a U.S. Open and all of a sudden you got to play 18 more holes of like U.S. Open? That the 18-hole playoff is crazy.
Got
at least it wasn't to lose it, man.
Yeah, fair point.
True. Speaking of losing it, I have one more qualifying site story.
Okay,
if we may. I got this video sent to me from someone. So in the New Jersey one, that Jim Herman, he won the 4-for-1 playoff to qualify, the mega bopper, the king of the boppers. And so on the first playoff hole, there's Peter Bradbeer. He 3 putts for bogey, missed the playoffs eventually. But on his par putt, the video, there's his friend behind him who has been served some alcohol, you can tell. He's got the plastic cup in his mouth, and he's in the wide stance videoing him putting. He's pretty much on the green. He is that close to him. And he's getting all the angles. And then he lips out the par putt to extend the playoff. And then this guy moves over to the left just to make sure he gets the good angle for the bogey putt tap in too.
Gotta get this one.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, he's going to put that one on his Instagram for sure.
Beautiful. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to turn our attention to maybe a couple quick other news stories, and then we are going to talk about the memorial. But first, we're going to take a quick break and hear a word from our partners.
You hear that? It's the steady pulse of the world's game that's turning fans into family and sport into passion. You hear that? It's the heartbeat of American soccer. The USL on CBS Sports Network.
And we're back. I'm just going to announce the President's Cup stuff. We don't have to talk about it. We're like months away. We're going to talk about this plenty. Jim Furyk announced Kevin Kisner, Stuart Sink, Justin Leonard as his assistant captains. They will all be serving in their roles for the first time. Congratulations.
Woo!
We can talk about this later. Liv is going to Houston, Greg. Now, this is a familiar site, Golf Club of Houston, which hosted the Houston Open for 15-ish years. Oh, here it is. 2003 to 2019. So 16 years or so. And now, though, this will be the first time that Liv goes there. And this is the only event outside of any potential U.S. Open qualifying or anything else that the Liv golfers have played since the PGA Championship.
And is this the first time they've gone up against a signature event on the PGA Tour?
Well, Patrick would know.
No, they went against Pebble early on. They've gone against more of them. Maybe
and they went against Phoenix, which I know is not a signature event, but they Phoenix Vegas week, which was Super Bowl week.
Right. Mm-hmm. And they did it in Vegas.
That's right.
Yes.
Well, Houston's a good venue. It was always a great golf course, great leading into the Masters. I'm not sure how it plays in June. I imagine it's rather hot in Houston, but it is definitely a good golf course. So we'll see. It seems like it's better preparation for a major championship than some of the other venues that they've played before majors before. And we'll see. Look, a lot of these guys are probably going to have a very legitimate chance. Dean Burmeister, who qualified in the U.S. Open, played really well in the PGA as well. Bryson basically had one hand on the trophy, and has been a great U.S. Open player as well. Obviously, Koepka certainly in the mix. And if you think it's a short game contest, that Cam Smith and Patrick Reed enter into the mix. Assuming Patrick Reed is in. I don't know that for sure, but I know that Cam Smith is, all the other guys are. So yeah, it's a good group, and we'll see. It should be a pretty good test for preparation.
After not having anything from the PGA Championship, Patrick, until now, they're going to go on a little bit of a American swing, if you will, because they are going to go Houston, obviously, then the U.S. Open for a handful, or more than that, dozen or so, I think is what it is, players, and then round up in Nashville before they go back to Europe, and they won't be back in the U.S. until August.
Okay, then they do London, Valderrama, and then individual and team.
Other way around, but they'll do, so it'll be Valderrama, London, Greenbrier, Chicago team championship in Dallas.
Oh, that's right. They announced they're going back in Dallas. Yeah, I'm excited to see. Honestly, the guy I'm looking at is one that Greg mentioned, Cameron Smith. Pinehurst is a second shot golf course where if you're just off with your irons, your short game is going to be tested much more than it was at, I was about to say Valderrama, at Valhalla. And it looks like a golf course where Cameron Smith can really compete. And kind of similar to what he did at LACC. You wouldn't think a U.S. Open is up Cam Smith's alley, but these last two venues have been kind of perfect for his game. So I'm hoping he can find something in particular with the driver, give himself some more chances from the middle of the fairway. But him and John Rahm are kind of the two names I have circled, just because I know Rahm's been playing good golf on Live, but I'd like to see a little bit more, especially after that miscut at the PGA Championship. He just hasn't looked like his normal self across those 8 major championship rounds so far.
Yeah, that'll be interesting too. Not only is, so John Rahm's been playing well, hasn't won on Live yet, has contended, but you're right. It was jarring. And trust me, as someone who picked him in my one and done for the PGA Championship, I saw everything that John Rahm was doing. He looked like he was just, he was at a boiling temperature on hole number 1 on Thursday, which was bizarre. And
his frame of mind just isn't, his frame of mind isn't in a good place.
Yeah.
From what I've seen, I'll be curious to see what the interview schedule is like in the U.S. Open week. There's no press conference for John Rahm. I'd be much more apt to, consider him as a viable option. The press conferences seem to really frustrate him.
PGA one was weird. Like, I'm still a member of the PGA Tour.
Yeah,
I swear, guys.
It was weird. It was a weird vibe. He's usually a very intense, focused guy, and this was like an intense, angry, upset guy. I don't know. It was weird. It was weird. So hopefully he's in a better place. The Memorial this week. So we've talked about the stretch that we're on the PGA Tour, Memorial, U.S. Open, Travelers, signature event, major championship, signature event. So this is leg 1 of that. And because it is a signature event that is tied to a host like Tiger at Riviera, like Arnold Palmer at Bay Hill, this is Jack at Muirfield Village. It has a cut. That cut, top 50 in ties with anybody within 10 shots. Accurate?
Top 50
Correct.
in ties, 10-shot rule in play.
And the purse is a little bit different because of that. Instead of $3.6 million for first, there's fewer players to pay out in theory. So it's that $4 million up top. Okay. That's all of that. Now we're getting here, Patrick, a lot of really interesting situations. We talked about this, I think, probably on Sunday night quickly. The number of golfers that haven't won who are big name players is huge on the PGA Tour. But you're starting to get these little signs that maybe Colin Morikawa is ready to pop. Maybe Victor Hovland's ready to go. You know, these guys that are trending in the right direction, trying to throw their names into the winner's circle.
Yeah, it makes for maybe one of the more interesting weeks we've had on the PGA Tour, because you have this almost unofficial top three, it seems like: Scotty Scheffler, Xander Schauffele, and Rory McIlroy. And the stats back it up too. They're better than everyone else in the world at the moment. And right behind them, you have, you know, maybe Colin Morikawa can join the crowd, but he hasn't won since the Zozo in the fall. Is Victor Hovland's form from the PGA Championship a flash in the pan, or is it going to be sticky? Is it going to set off a summer where he wins the FedEx Cup playoffs again, like he did last year? It all started here. And so I think it's one of the more compelling weeks on the PGA Tour that we've had this season, just because a lot of these guys need to freaking win. There are guys like Jordan Spieth is in question. His place in signature events next year is in jeopardy. Obviously, he's going to get sponsors exemptions into every single one of them, no matter what. I understand that. But if he wants to qualify for the BMW Championship, he's on the outside looking in. He needs to do something. We only have 2 months left in the season, which is ridiculous to think. And so you have kind of someone like him, and then guys like Morikawa, Hovland. Justin Thomas is playing very good golf at the moment as well. And the guys who actually win, with Scheffler, Xander, which I am saying now, and McIlroy.
By the way, how quickly things change, right? I mean, Greg talks about it all the time. Just add a 1 to that last row, and it's all the problems.
Changes everything.
A 6-footer lips in, doesn't lip out.
Unbelievable.
Thing of beauty.
It is almost two. It does feel like two groups. It's the in crowd, Xander, Rory, Scotty, and everybody who wants to be in the popular group.
Yeah. And I do think some of these guys are playing better, trending upward. I think Victor Hovland and Colin Morikawa are both trending upward for very legitimate reasons. Some of the other guys, Patrick Cantlay, I haven't really seen a trend of good. Memorial, perhaps that's a different story. Justin Thomas, it's been good for. Wyndham Clark was very much on the in, and his game seems to have kind of slipped a little bit over the last couple weeks, especially with his iron play. So it is a fascinating group. But I think the tour as a whole, when you have Rory McIlroy and Scotty Scheffler as some of your guys that are playing well, I think you're in a pretty good place. And to add Xander into the mix is a good thing as well. So before, it was just Scotty and the long shots. That has changed to Scotty, Rory, and Xander, right? They've joined up. They've created this new band. They're not long shots, it's great. And then I feel like Hovland and Morikawa are adding in, and all of a sudden, we're going to have a whole choir putting out the next hit single.
It's like when, I'm going to butcher this, Harry Styles and Niall Horan, all, Zayn.
I can't believe you got Zayn.
I don't know his last name.
That's a hell of a pull, Rick.
I definitely don't know the other two. But
hell of a pull.
It's when they were individuals, and they said, you know what? Let's team up and become One Direction. And the rest was history. So that's what the big three have done.
I'm glad you bowled that up for me, because I had no clue what you were talking about.
What is a Zayn?
Did he mean Maine? Are we talking about a lion?
That's exactly what's going on here. What else, Patrick? What else do we? I mean, is this? It feels oddly golf focused this week.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. Nicholas said he changed the course a little bit too, added some distance to the tee box on 17, the long par 4, and then he moved the one on 16 because everyone was complaining about it last year. I think the guys hit the green 35% of the time in round 3, 28% of the time in round 4. And so he moved it 30 yards to the right. So instead of playing over the water, it's more alongside the water. And so he's hoping that that will help it out. But yeah, seems super golf focused. Xander Schauffele was super laid back. He was cracking jokes with everyone. He was kind of, Keith Stewart from Read the Line. He was kind of needling him back and forth, which was funny to see, kind of giving him some crap for a question. Funnily, good banter. And so it seems like everyone's kind of in pretty good spirits, which means something's coming.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. On the 16th hole, I did hear Billy Horschel talking about this as well. He said it basically because you're hitting, as you said, Patrick, alongside the water rather than over the water, it also elongates the green. So as these greens get really firm, great shots are just bouncing into the back bunker, which is tough, and it's unlikely that, whatever is not 28%, or I guess that's 72% of the field hit poor shots that missed the green, right? So a lot of those guys hit good shots that missed the green, and that's what they're trying to alleviate. But what Billy Horschel also said about that was he believes more balls will end up in the water because when you were hitting it directly over the water, if you hit a little pull, it goes 5 yards farther, carries the water, still miss the green, but you're over the water. Now a little pull ends up going in the water. You can't really carry it with enough distance unless you hit it 15 yards too far, as he said. So I'll be curious to see how 16 plays.
Interesting. Rick, do you know if there's any weather in the forecast? Because when I think of the Memorial, I think of rain delays every year.
I don't know if there is. I know it's been wet there this year.
Yeah, I think it's going to be beautiful.
Nice.
Like under 20% chances of rain.
Oh, baby. Let's go.
Like in the 70s. Really nice temperature. And I think pretty light winds as well.
Yeah, here you go. So a storm tomorrow afternoon is basically gonna cool this whole place down. So it's like 90 degrees today. Tomorrow afternoon will cool it off. It'll be like 80, 74, 78, 75, sunny all day, maybe some afternoon winds, but very consistent. This could be fun.
Ooh, that'll be a good cut sweat potentially Friday.
Yeah, Friday afternoon. Friday at noon, the winds go from like 7 miles an hour to like 20.
Oh, yeah. Love that. Love that.
So let's go.
It should
and that will dry out the course a little bit too, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Got to. I was going to say it should be, the cut should only be if you're within 10 of the leader.
Only. Yeah, we love this conversation.
So
it's like, oh my goodness.
somebody jumps out to like a 4-shot lead already. So now it's like, well, maybe I can, if I push this, I can knock out like 20 more guys.
And if you miss the cut, you're out of the next signature event.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
We are going to have no field.
Relegate like via, like if you miss the cut at a signature event, all of you are replaced.
Yeah. See you later.
All of you.
Yeah, it's only gonna be like 20 of you.
Scotty, not if Scotty Scheffler goes out and hits it the way he did last year and makes putts. He'll be at 25 under and be the only one to make the week. He'll win it on Friday.
Win by Friday.
I would love to see that. Oh my God.
You still have to play, Scotty. You still have to play, but you won.
The mercy rule would be sick.
A mercy rule. Well, the 10-shot rule, in a way, if you had only the 10-shot rule as a cut, it's like a mercy rule.
Yeah, because if he was leading by 10 after 2 rounds, he'd win.
He'd win.
11. Wow,
that'd be nuts.
I love it. Sign me up. All right. here's what we're going to do. We're going to turn our attention to the betting board. We're going to release our one and done selections. We're going to talk about some more golfers in the process. But first, we're going to take a quick break and hear a word from our partners.
An unsub. A seasoned one.
And he's leaving a calling card.
How do we find a ghost? I have a plan.
And we're back. It is time to do dun 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 the bets. This is $50 on the matchup of our choice. It is $30 on the finishing position of our choice. It's 10 each on two separate outrights. And of course, it's all brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel Sportsbook, where you can make every moment more. All right, Josh, release the old grid here, and let's see what we have for this week. Oh, very, very interesting stuff. Greg, kick us off with your matchup.
Yes, this was kind of I had a hard time with the matchups this week. It took me really a long time to decide, and I figured I got to get a little bit of action on Patrick Cantlay. I'm not crazy about it, but with it, I just got to have something on him. So I got Patrick Cantlay over Ludwig Oberg at -110. With Cantlay's performance at the RBC Heritage, I'm thinking maybe his game isn't in terrible shape. And when he gets to a place like this that he loves, maybe we see some great golf out of him.
Patrick Cantlay, -110 over Ludwig Oberg. Patrick, okay. Oh, this is interesting. There's a little bit of crossover here, but you did something different. What did you do, Patrick?
I'm going with Colin Morikawa +145 over both Patrick Cantlay and Ludwig Oberg. So in a perfect world, it's going to go Colin Morikawa, Patrick Cantlay, and then Ludwig Oberg. And everyone's going to be happy. It's going to be hashtag good picks all around. We'll be tossing them left and right like Oprah and cars.
These could conceivably both win.
Conceivably, and they will. Morikawa is playing great golf ever since the Masters. I think there's still a lot of room for improvement, which is very exciting. Cantlay, I understand the course history. I'm not as confident as Greg that just a return to this place will bring out good golf. And then Ludwig, we just haven't seen him since the PGA, and the knee's probably fine, but there's like a sliver of doubt there. So I'll go with Morikawa, who playing well and plays well here.
Yeah, I'm preparing myself for the Morikawa victory here imminently. Maybe not this week, but maybe next week, or maybe at the track. Like it's
coming soon.
It's happening. It is happening. I went a little bit farther down the board. Billy Horschel -110 over Shane Lowry. Billy's played great here. He's playing the best golf of his, probably not of his life, but maybe since like he won the FedEx Cup. He's just been awesome. The advanced metrics are there. I have him over Shane Lowry. I don't always know what to make of Shane Lowry. He's coming off, a phenomenal putting performance at the PGA Championship, the best of his career. Obviously saw regression there in his most recent start. So I'm just kind of torn. And Greg, that's a good segue into what your finishing position is, because you've got Shane Lowry here.
I've got Shane Lowry top 20 at +175. There's a couple things I really like about Shane Lowry. One, a lot of the inconsistencies and struggles that we saw that Patrick and I both personally felt earlier in the year came specifically from the putter. Dreadful putting performances. And then the PGA goes crazy and has the best putting performance of his career, as you mentioned, largely in one round. But then he still gained strokes again on the greens at the RBC Canadian Open. Although it was a significant regression, it also wasn't terrible. And what I'm looking for here is not terrible. Shane Lowry has played well since the redo. Here, he's got a tied 6th, a tied 32nd, and a T16 last year at the Memorial since the redo. So the other thing I really like about him, more so than just the putting, which I think is going to stabilize, he's very accurate off the tee. 10th most accurate player over the last 36 rounds in this field. I think that'll be a big asset this week.
So maybe Billy Horschel finishes 18th, Shane Lowry finishes 19th.
I'm fine with that.
Okay, yeah. We'll take that. I have Will Zalatoris top 20 at +190. I, again, am not really sure what to do with Zalatoris, but he is being priced alongside My goodness. I saw him down there with like, hold on. I'm gonna make sure I get this right, because I don't want to
Expose them. Expose them.
I don't want to besmirch anybody, but he's priced with like Tom Hoagie, JT Poston, Harris English, and then Will Zalatoris. I mean, which of these names does not fit the others? He did gain strokes putting in his most recent start, which at least stopped the hemorrhaging. And I think that this golf course should reward his style of golf. So I went with Zalatoris, top 20, plus 190. I think that he is being mispriced this week, and I wanted to get my beak wet a little bit on that one. Patrick, you have found a way. 1, 2, 3. So you're gonna have 4 separate outright wagers this week, right?
That's correct. Because after seeing the big board last week,
I knew it.
Down $292. I know what I have to do. And so I got a little creative here. I'm going Colin Morikawa to finish top one at 10-1. And this market does not include Scotty Scheffler, Xander Schauffele, and Rory McIlroy. So if somehow this tournament ends up with Scotty Scheffler number 1 and Xander Schauffele number 2 and Colin Morikawa number 3, guess what? We are winners. We are back in the black, more likely than not. And I just think, like you said, Colin Morikawa is due for a win here shortly.
Yeah. So this is an alternate market without Scotty Scheffler, without Xander Schauffele, without Rory McIlroy, as if those guys do not exist. So if they finish 1, 2, 3, and Morikawa finishes 4th, Patrick wins this. Morikawa would finish top one meaning win without those guys. So that would be
crazy,
happening.
by the way, if that happened.
Oh my gosh. You imagine if you could do like, what is it? I was going to say, and then or a trifecta. What's a four quartet? I don't know what they call that.
Oh my gosh. What is it?
It sounds like a loser to me.
Is it a superfecta?
Superfecta. Superfecta.
Right?
Ding,
Okay.
ding, ding.
That would be, oh my God, you'd get paid a ton if you could just, or
unless you boxed it. Yeah.
If you could box them.
See, we need different, we got to fix this, guys.
Man, my lights wouldn't be on if you'd be able to do that. I'll tell you that right
now. Would you take, okay, how about this, Patrick? How about this? If I offered you the ability to bet on golf like horse racing, meaning the locations, the legalities, the options, but they are pari-mutuel markets, would you accept that trade?
Give me a second.
So for those who don't know what pari-mutuel markets mean,
that's what I'm looking up.
For those listening at home, so in horse racing,
oh, you did a great job hiding that, Patrick.
Could you tell?
I saw his eyes. In horse racing, everybody gets the same odds. Okay, so it's all as the money comes in, it all gets tabulated and it all gets adjusted, and then it closes and everybody gets the same number. So that's when you see it says, okay, a $2 bet would have paid $50 because they know what everybody's odds are. Because so basically, if I bet Will Zalatoris at 50-1 and a lot of money comes in and he moves down to 12-1, I got great closing line value. That does not exist in horse racing. Everybody ends up with the same odds at post time.
I'm cool with that because I hate the CLV crowd on Twitter, Rick. They are they're like among the worst. I would say when it comes to gambling Twitter, three people I do not like. Number one, obviously, the people who are attacking the players, messaging them, sending them replies and everything. Like, get a life. We've talked about this. Take a lap. Number two would be those people who tell you how bad your bet is, right? They're telling you how to spend your own money. Take a lap. And then the CLV crowd will be number 3 on that list. So I'm cool. Yeah, it's a community, right? We all get the same odds. No one can besmirch the others. So I'm okay with that, with the pari-mutuel betting.
Okay, perfect. And then I always like, you go to like the off track books. They got all the screens up there. I imagine all the groups up there, all the players you want to follow. Every time somebody makes a putt or misses a putt, some old guy in the corners yelling profanities and hitting on pitches and all the nasty stuff, right? So
what would it be called? The OCB instead of the OTB?
Off course bets, baby.
Off course bets.
Yeah. I'll see you down at the OCB.
Oh,
so we had it. I don't know if these are all over the place, but we had an OTB near where I grew up called the Turf Club, which that could just be the same name for golf.
Yeah, it could. It could be just golf. Forget the ponies. That could be. You could literally make a movie out of that. What I'm picturing going on in that place could be a movie, like Caddyshack.
It was not the greatest place, but I digress. That is Will Zalatoris top 20. Is Shane Lowry top 20. Colin Morikawa top 1 without Scotty Scheffler, without Xander Schauffele, without Rory McIlroy. Now the official outrights, which allow Patrick access to more outrights, are next. And Patrick, we're going to bounce it right back to you. What'd you take?
Ooh, I'm going with Justin Thomas, 30-1. Playing much better golf as of late. Started well this year, hit a lull, seems to be back on track, driving it very well, which is awesome to see. We'll set up that iron play. The putter's obviously not great, but some slight improvement there as well. Playoff loser to Colin Morikawa in 2020 at work today. Oh, imagine if fans were at that event. What could have been. So good history here. And then Max Homa also has a solid history here. 55-1. I know he ejected at Colonial, but long, tough golf courses. Sign me up for Max Homa. He does need to drive the ball better, though. The driver's been very inconsistent this year. But if that kind of levels, hopefully he can contend.
That was the week where on the 18th hole, Justin Thomas made like a 50-foot putt. And then Colin Morikawa had to put one on top of him from like 22 feet down the hill to force a playoff. Did.
Mm-hmm.
And then Morikawa won in a playoff.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome.
It was sick.
Yeah. If there were fans there, that would have been pretty wild. Because I always thought Morikawa, it would have been a totally different putt if there was a crowd there.
Oh yeah.
Not that he wouldn't have made it, but just
can't play in front of crowds.
Can't play in front of crowds. Can't play wind
in the wind. Yeah,
guy stinks. He's got like 8 wins already in 2 majors. I went with Victor Hovland. I'm a believer. 18-1. Great golf course for his skill set. I think we're back. You're not gonna have me missing out on this. And then I went on the live side. Abraham Answer, 25-1. A lot of oxygen has been sucked up by Rahm and Bryson and everybody else. Abe Answer won earlier this year. He's got like 5 straight top 10 finishes. He has a small but good record around GC of Houston. I'm taking Answer at 25-1. So I am trying to be a little bit like Patrick and make sure that both my outrights are live. So that's what I've done.
Perfect grid. It's in play this week.
In play. Love to see it.
The perfect grid. Greg, round us out. Your 2 outrights, please.
Okay. Well, I'm a little worried about the crowd, but Colin Morikawa can't play in front of a crowd. But I'm a huge fan of what he's got going on. 14-1. This does include Scotty Scheffler, but the perfect grid is not in play for me this week. I did not do that. I just took Morikawa straight up 14-1. Since he's gone to Rick Sessinghouse, I mean, some of these numbers are incredible. You look at his strokes gained total average per round before in the, however many tournaments, it was like 23 rounds. But I took the strokes gained total average before he made the switch back to Rick Sessinghouse. He was averaging 0.6 strokes gained per tournament. And then afterwards, it's 9.03 per tournament for an average, which is 6, but the Zurich's included in that. So it's really only 5 events. So really impressive stuff out of Morikawa. since getting back together with Rick Sessinghouse, I think it's going in the right direction, and I love his record here. My second one is Scotty Scheffler at plus 360. I don't think I need to say anything else.
You do not. Scotty Scheffler, best player in the world, plus 360. Colin Morikawa, 14-1. Justin Thomas, 30-1. Max Homa, 55-1. Victor Hovland, 18. Abraham Answer, 25-1. Those are the outright wagers from us. Now we take our extra 50 and we smack something else with it. Greg, I like yours. We talked about this on Monday and the way that this guy's been playing. What have you landed on?
Sepp Straka, top 20 at plus 165. I thought that was a pretty good number. Sepp's been playing great golf. He's extremely accurate off the tee. He has shown that he can play tough golf courses really well. I'm a big fan of Sepp and his game and his current form, and he had to be somewhere on the card this week.
I went with a nationality wager, top Englishman. There's only 3 of them in the field. Matt Fitzpatrick, Tommy Fleetwood, and my selection, Justin Rose.
Love it.
Yeah, I just like I'm okay with the way he's been playing. We talked about his Memorial history on Monday. He plays hard golf courses very well. And plus 320 over Fleetwood, who's been great. And Fitzpatrick, who's really struggled. I thought it was a little bit too long for what is essentially a 3-ball here. So I took Rose to be the top Englishman, and Patrick has done it. The golden sombrero, all 4 wagers are 4 outright wagers. What did you finish up here with, Patrick?
This is what we in the biz call chasing, Rick. I'm going with Scotty Scheffler, like Greg, at plus 360. He might win by 5 this week. This is a bet you can sweat every Sunday. It's amazing. You know you're going to be in it, right? You know I still have a chance to somehow win a wager and not have all red across my board.
I have a buddy who just does not follow golf at all and bets Scotty Scheffler every single week, and he thinks he is an absolute genius.
Dude, I have a friend in North Carolina who they just legalized betting, and he's like, I've been following your picks. You're an idiot. I bet on Scotty Scheffler 4 times this year, and I've made like $500.
Yeah.
Why aren't you picking him every week? I'm like, well, I am now.
And you're right. Like, even when he's not winning, you're at least getting the sweat value out of it.
Yeah.
Constant.
So, I'm like,
I mean, he might win this by Friday.
Yeah, there's a chance.
If I was in charge, he would. Sepp Straka, top 20. Scotty Scheffler to win. Justin Rose, top Englishman. The other 2 Englishmen in that field, Tommy Fleetwood, Matt Fitzpatrick. That best bets segment was brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more. One more thing left to do. That is to release the one and done selections. We tease this. We tease the potential movement, but now we are actually going to release those wagers and let you know what's going on. And Josh is going to do that right now. There you go. Ooh. So there is the comments make sense, right? With a $4 million purse, Kyle cannot get to the lead. I cannot get to the lead because Mark and I have the same selection. Josh could conceivably get there. Mark could conceivably get there. He has the top of the board, or a path to the top. Patrick could not because Greg has the same selection. So that's where we were going with this. Kyle got his selection in under the gun with literal moments to spare. Was it 1 minute or was it less than a minute, Patrick?
I think we have to look at the tape here. I think we have evidence of the time that it came in. Producer Josh was hounding him, but just under that 5 o'clock deadline.
This is I cannot believe this is an actual screenshot. So the way
I'm sure it really is.
This might be photoshopped. Okay, so this is allegedly Josh in the blue bubble texting Kyle, which by the way, kudos to producer Josh for reaching out 18 minutes before the show, trying to make sure that someone doesn't miss their pick.
Good man.
So if you're just listening, Josh says, OAD question mark? Like you're one and done?
Hello.
Waiting on your one and done.
And the other thing that Josh did is sent a text message to the whole group earlier in the day that said, if you're not on the show tonight, get your one and done in.
Right.
This is a second ask. That is extremely generous.
And there's no third ask, let me tell you that. Kyle Porter allegedly replied, your mom.
Allegedly.
I'm stunned by this. This can't be real.
No LOL, no exclamation point, no wink face.
So it goes,
I haven't heard that comeback from a grown man, maybe ever.
so it says OAD question mark. Kyle says, your mom. Josh says, oh yeah? Question mark at 4:46. And then with less than a minute to go at a 4:59 timestamp, Kyle replies, can't lay. And gets his pick in. Which, first of all, he replied faster on the original text, which makes me think that he was timing it and waiting till 4:59, which like this whole thing is impressive.
He might be way too deep in the process, though, also. Taking 13 minutes, deciding who to pick.
Well, you think he's doing research on running models? Last
He's like,
minute
God,
models?
I have to pick Patrick Cantlay? Oh, man, do
Maybe-
I have to?
Maybe he decided who his actual pick was going to be and then went for the complete opposite and just picked Cantlay.
Maybe.
Unless
all
he's been
alleged,
doing that
of
all
course.
year, it's a good strategy.
Yeah, this is all alleged. We'll have to send that screenshot to the FBI and see if what the origins of it are, if it's been tampered with, all that stuff. We have some connections, so we'll get that over there and get the results updated here in the next few weeks. So Kyle has gone with Patrick Cantlay. I have gone with Victor Hovland. Great spot for him. Obviously, defending champion. I'm trying to time it right. I want to catch it in the upswing. I'm going with Victor. Josh is the lone wolf, and he has taken Ludwig Oberg, who, I don't know, Josh, is his knee a little sore? Is he struggling? I don't know. We'll find out. Probably not. Mark has gone with Victor Hovland. So Mark and I will move together. Patrick, you are in second place. You are $1.4 million behind Greg. You will not catch Greg this week. Who have you picked?
But you know what Greg and I will be doing? We will be surging. This Peloton will turn into a two-man race after this week. I'm going with Colin Morikawa. I knew this was a risk when I picked him. Thought about getting fancy and picking Rory McIlroy this week, because who would pick him at the Memorial? No one. But instead, I'm sticking to my preseason pick for this tournament. He completely boned me last year when he withdrew before the final round, but I don't think that's going to happen this year, knock on wood. And me and Greg are going to be off to the races.
Greg, obviously, we couldn't hold off on spoiling it. You also went with Colin Morikawa here. As you look at the rest of this board and see how it has shaped up, are you happy with the selections that have been made?
It seems I haven't done, any real significant research on this, but it always seems like when Colin Morikawa plays well, Victor Hovland does too, or vice versa. Like those two on leaderboards, it's so bizarre. They always seem to be there together. And of course there's exceptions, but it's just something that pops up to me. So it could be real thrilling for all of us or real boring for all of us. And I'm thinking it's going to be on the thrilling side. So yeah, I like the way this board shaped out. There's not a ton of variety, which is good for me. I went with Colin Morikawa. I feel very confident. We already spoke about that. I will say the cool thing about doing this and run your pool the way we do is you can see who you have left and it's associated with world rank. So now they have to be in this field, which is pretty much everybody. And boy, things are really thinning out. They're thinning out for me and fast.
Yeah, mine's just all grayed out, basically.
Yeah. Like Patrick's hair.
We've got people to burn in the McDonald camp. Do you guys still have the 24th player in the world, Matthew Pavon?
I couldn't even keep a straight face on that one. That was so
Because
stupid.
Patty does.
Oh, he's like the min price on DraftKings this week. He's been so bad. No, but I do have the number 1 ranked player in the world left, Russell Henley.
Oh man, that he's going to win you this one and done, Rick. I cannot believe I deployed him at the Players' Championship.
I mean, I don't even know who I'm going to play in the playoffs. So I have Colin, Tommy Fleetwood, Hideki, and Russell Henley. That is basically at the top of my board.
I hope to have 3 guys who could make the playoffs.
I have.
I guess I'll be able to use. I mean, I'm obviously going live homies in the last 2 majors.
Yeah, got to.
I've got Wyndham. Just to give you guys an idea, I've got Wyndham, Victor, Cantlay, Fleetwood, Keegan. I mean, now you know where I'm going. I got world number 1 Russell Henley.
Oh man, I can't believe you guys have him in your back pocket like that.
I'm gonna need a Lucas Glover late summer run like we got last year.
Yeah, I'd love a JT run too. I have him in my back pocket.
I should have probably played. I should have played like Justin Rose or something. I'm so screwed. I have nothing left.
I just need one of these guys to like make it to Eastlake.
Yeah, I'll be playing Ben Griffin and his new eyes in Eastlake. First.
Although, are we doing it? Are we doing Eastlake?
Yeah. We'll figure it. It'll be worth about $100 million by the time we get there.
But Run Your Pool will probably be done before.
Oh, yeah. Actually, maybe we're not. I forgot that we're like doing an official one.
Yeah, it's official.
Yeah, so I got to deploy Rory here soon. Okay, good enough. I have Denny McCarthy, which is huge. You got to catch a win from a random guy to win this.
Like a Robert McIntyre win would have been sick.
Or Sepp Straka at TPC Southwind.
So
I'm saying it's going to happen, but it's going to happen.
I'm looking at the rules. I'm looking at the rules on Run Your Pool, and the Tour Championship is included.
Wow.
Now, do we know
twist?
Do we know how? Like, is it with
they pay FedEx Cup bonuses?
Is it a percentage of the?
What are we doing?
We can choose what percentage of the total purse. Okay. Historically, what have we done? We've done
like the same purse as the BMW.
Yeah, I think that's right. Okay.
Or we can decide like the week ahead, depending what the standings are.
The Tour Championship has a prize pool valued at 5 to 8 times that of other tournaments. If you only wish to avoid part of that prize pool, please select the desired percentage above. Yes, we probably want like 25% or something like that. Or probably more if we want it to be like the BMW Championship. I don't know. We'll have to figure that out. Yeah, let's see who's in the lead by the time we get there.
Yeah.
If it's Mark,
separate when we have.
If it's Mark, we'll ramp it up to 100%.
Okay, I agree on that.
Okay.
Correct.
For those just listening at home, here's the update. Greg is at 11.3 million. He took Colin Morikawa. Patrick is at 9.9 million. He took Colin Morikawa. Mark is at 8.4 million. He took Victor Hovland. Josh is at 7.4 million. He took Ludwig Oberg. Rick is at 7.3 million. He took Victor Hovland. Kyle is at 3.3 million. He took Patrick Cantlay and your mom. Anything else, gentlemen?
Oh, that was funny. Very entertaining.
Allegedly.
Yo Mama on MTV. Used to be a great show. I don't know if you guys watched that one.
Big Mama's House. Was that a movie?
Was that Eddie Murphy? Or
that sounds
Martin
right.
Lawrence?
You are a racist.
I think it's... Is it Martin Lawrence?
I thought it was Eddie Murphy.
I don't know. Big Mama's House.
I think it's Martin Lawrence.
Martin Lawrence.
No, it was none of them.
What?
No? Wait.
Josh said Martin Lawrence in the chat. It must be true.
Martin Lawrence. Sorry.
Oh my gosh.
Might be.
I can't believe you called me a race.
I rescind that. You're not.
Got it right.
You're absolutely right. Martin Lawrence, an undercover FBI agent posing as Hattie Mae Big Mama Pierce.
How many of those ran? 3?
Oh boy.
We don't need to get into this.
No. There were 2 more. Yeah. So Big Mama's House 2. And then the third in the sequel, Big Mama's Like Father, Like Son.
So there are 2 Big Mamas.
3 Big Mamas.
His son was playing one. He was playing one, and then the actual Big Mama.
Dude, they all made. So Big Mama's House number 1, $30 million budget. It did $174 million.
Holy shit.
Big Mama's House 2, $40 million budget. It did $140. Big Mama's House 3, this is where they decided to wrap it up. $32 million budget. They slashed the budget. Still did $82 million.
Wow.
The
50 mil.
The third of the Big Mama series did $82 million.
Wow. I didn't even see it. They got more on the way.
With the way Hollywood works, you would
They
think
got more on the way.
we're a couple decades removed. You know the reboot's coming around, Greg. You know
Yep.
what's up.
Oh yeah.
Reboot's coming around.
When they release that in a town near you, Greg, they got your $18.
They got it.
That's funny. That's funny. All right, we'll be back Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday for Memorial round by round recaps. Producer Josh, thank you very much. Does all the hard work behind the scenes. Patrick McDonald at P McDonald CBS. Greg DuCharme at The Real GFD. You can find me at Rick Run Good. This has been The First Cut. We'll catch you next time.